Hi there, Mark Verheer here. A bit under the weather. Yeah, PlayStation 2 emulation on the PC really has come a long way. And on my last video, Zontar82 actually wondered whether or not there would be these black bars that plagued upscaling the Tekken games on the previous versions of the emulator. Well, figured it was time to just check out some more games within the emulator, and of course those Tekken games as well. So let's move to the screen capture and start, and then type Tekken. I ripped all my games. So the resolution is set to, let's see, graphics, rendering is set to 1080p. This is a different system than the one that I used on the previous capture. This has an RX580 graphics card. And basically it has the same processor and the same amount of RAM. So let's check out Tekken 4 and make that full screen. So you'll see the resolution over here, 1920 by 1440, and this basically is some sort of hack. It's a PAL game. All characters, just press start to play the game. So PAL games will run at 50 frames per second. A lot of these PAL games actually will allow you to choose NTC or 60 Hz PAL mode. Let's turn down the volume a tad. Whoops. So when using these upscaled graphics, the thing that is not upscaled is the let's go arcade. Is not upscaled is the 2D graphics. So this is not liked. I am actually copying a huge amount of files off the drive when I'm running the emulator on. So any stuttering may be due to the fact that I'm using my computer for something else whilst running the emulator, but might be a good thing because it shows you how good one of these Ryzen processors is. But yeah, no black bars. There would be black bars visible within the playing area, and this is just running at 1080p. Okay, let's check out one of the other games. Oh yeah, and what is cool is the big picture mode. This emulator also has. You go game list, Tekken. Yeah. No, just whoops. Emulators. Now it's easier to search the game that you want to do like this. So let's go with Tekken 5 and go full screen with that. Okay, so this is one of these. You can play the game. One of these full motion video things on the Mega Drive, I believe. This is an NTSC game. Medium arcade battle.
The King of Iron Fist tournament.
Let's see. Familiar faces.
Lin Xiao. Get ready for the next battle.
I don't mind the 2D graphics being more coarse. It's a nice distinction between the two. People are actually whoa, also upscaling those, but I see no need. So yeah, no black bars in the gameplay here as well. Come on. So that is nice. So if we check out the other game, Tekken Tech Tournament, then we have the view full screen. So this is a PAL game. Arcade. Yo. And the second. So there are some flashing. I guess those were the. Yeah, there are some weird interlaced effect things going on. But probably those are the lighting effects, because it is thundering over here. So a bit unfortunate when it comes to this scene actually. I thought it was... Oh, you can only change once, I believe, during a fight. Oh no, there we have her. Okay, let's see if the other scene has these flashes, because those flashes are probably because of the lighting and the thunder. Yeah. KO. So there are some frame spikes. Yeah, probably because of the scene. This really looks very nice. I'm actually quite curious how Dead or Alive would actually be. KO. Okay, let's see how Dead or Alive actually works. Dead or Alive 2. One of them is PAL, the other one should be NTSC. Let's just check out one of them. And then go full screen. Again, upscaled to 1080p. I've set the BIOS of the PlayStation 2 to 16:9 aspect ratio, and a lot of the games will actually work like that as well. Oh, here you can actually have the 60 hertz. Yeah, I always wondered what this the beginning of this game was like. You know, you see these valves, these rotating. Oh yeah, and now I'm copying off the drive, so sometimes it stutters. It has nothing to do with the emulator, but I'm actually doing two things at the same time. I'm actually backing up all the games that I'm actually currently playing. Yeah, for some reason I decided to do that. Yeah, which is actually quite weird, but yeah, it just shows how powerful these new Ryzen systems, or older Ryzen systems are.
Get ready, fire!
So these fighting games, they work really well. Let's see. Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer 5. One of them is Japanese, this one is Japanese. And just Alt Enter. Yeah, it switches to full screen. Now this is a release game, which is a weird title, as it uses a weird double, yeah, like this, a weird double interlaced thing. And it does have all sorts of issues displaying that in high resolution. And there used to be graphical errors with these games. Let me see, load. Perhaps they fixed that. They use a weird overlapping multiple texture thing. I don't think this game actually is widescreen, so yeah. I don't think this actually likes to be upscaled. Oh, this is cool. There used to be a ton of corruption. With these graphics. The textures on the car would just be off. And actually they fixed it in this game. Which is good. I'm curious whether it'll be full speed when you go in-game. Oh wow, that looks amazing.
We're bringing you this race today.
Oh wow.
Live from Parktown. We're in for some serious racing action today.
Okay. Oh no, there's issues with the and there's issues with the speed, but there's also issues with the I have to switch on analog. Yeah. And we need to switch to software render because, yeah. So there, the graphical issues aren't an issue anymore.
3 laps to go.
But that's actually a big bonus. The emulator really has gotten a lot better from a user standpoint, because you have this big picture mode, but also the main GUI allows you to change certain often change settings quite easily without having to navigate through a whole bunch of menu systems. It's actually quite interesting how Duckstation and PSX2 basically look the same and have the same options. I believe it's thanks to Duckstation, the PlayStation 2 emulator, that PSX2 actually got Vulkan rendering. And the Vulkan rendering is actually a huge part when it comes to the speed update. Oh! Oh! Ja, lekker! Ooh. I'm going to pause. Of ik nou zit te narraten of niet, hups. And that was some hot cocoa that was brought to me. So yeah, couldn't resist. But let's go back to the emulator. And let me see. Yeah, this actually works really well in software mode, and it really runs full speed. And as you can see, there's just virtually no hiccups when it comes to frame time, which actually is the fact when you run a lot of these games either in software mode or just at the native resolution. Yeah, rendering at a higher resolution does take up some extra processing power, but they did it in a very effective way. So everything that the emulator does, it can do within a single cycle that the screen updates in. So that's actually quite good. I mean, this just doesn't control that much different from, you know, a native game running on the PC. So emulation is not bad necessarily. These response times you would have with a game running at 60 frames per second as well. But yeah, let's check out some other games. A game that I'm actually quite curious after is Ratchet and Clank. Just the first one, because it may actually be broken. I used to be able to play this. And it might be broken because I was using a file system, a folder, instead of a single file for a memory card. So, new game, create a save file. New game, empty, saving data. Yeah, so if you use a folder for the game, for the save data, it doesn't want to work. So some games you really have to use a memory card file. So this is the NTSC version. I'm very curious how this would actually run. Seems to be full speed even with the engine cutscenes. Yeah, this is just such an iconic game, Ratchet and Clank. Oh wow. This used to be very difficult to get it to run. And for the longest time there would be all sorts of issues rendering it. But this is just running full speed. Let's go to the garage. Oh. The controls of the camera are reversed, which is a bit of a pain. I don't like that. Perhaps it's possible to let me see, camera left right movement, reversed, exit, yeah, Yeah, this works better for me. But this just looks like a native game. It really runs at a very solid 60 frames per second. Oh. Wow. And this is one of these games that really shows the power of the visual qualities on the of the PlayStation 2. Quite like it. Let me see, let's cross the bridge. Yeah, this works, cool. So, what else? Need for Speed. Need for Speed Most Wanted. These games, and I really have to be very careful not to have the audio crap up. I'll just mute the audio for now, because there's all sorts of copyrighted music going on. So within the menu system, I'll turn off the volume. Hi, my name is Mia. Welcome to Need for Speed. Start. Let me see. Options. Audio, video, widescreen on. Yep. And then it's accept, and video, audio, I mean, game music volume down, interactive music off, EA track off. So I think it's safe to turn on. Okay, accept. Back. Yeah. Yeah. So this is not running at full speed. It's underperforming, and it must be because it really doesn't like to be upscaled. But let's see. Yeah. So this is running like half the speed or something like that. So, Quick Race Challenge Series. Oh, that was just in the menu system, I guess. Let's see. Auto. Yeah, you would sometimes have these slowdowns when menu systems and such are rendered in a very different way. Upscaling might actually have a big toll on the performance.
Not everyone in the blacklist can be trusted. All you have to do is
snag a ticket from one to another.
You have a limited amount of time to get from one toll booth to the next.
So this is solid again. Let's see how the this also seems to be full speed. Oh yeah. This is running full speed. This is nice. I remember absolutely loving this game on the original Xbox, and always being slightly disappointed by the game on the PlayStation, because the Xbox did have some clearer graphics, and the PlayStation version looked a bit smeared out for some reason, but
Attention Patrol Northeast. We have a 911 call reporting a reckless driver.
so it's underperforming slightly.
Highway 99. Available units to respond.
Dispatching, I'm wired for on that vehicle.
Suspect is in a red Volkswagen.
But for the most part, it's very solid. I mean, it feels really smooth. Oh, I just love the sense of speed in these games. I mean, EA it actually is the Antichrist when it comes to to video game companies. Didn't used to be like that, but they've turned into a horrible company.
Yeah, confirmed it's a vehicle code 3 chase.
So yeah, there is some sort of cube mapping thing going on, I guess, on the car, which makes it more realistic in terms of if it surfaces sort of responding to the scenes around it. It's not really ray traced graphics or anything. Machines back in the day weren't capable of doing that. But this runs very smoothly. Of course, I crash, but now the Underground games. Underground, yeah. Here again, I'll mute the sound until I'm able to. Let me see. Let's do it. English. Start. Surface announcement. So this is this is a PAL game. We probably will get the option to be able to create a load. Yes, load. Do I have a profile loaded? Yeah, lacto. Yeah. So there's huge spikes now. So I guess the file input and output actually wreaks havoc on the. Let me see if I can go for options, audio, speech and music, movie volume, music volume. Yeah. Okay, let's and then go back. Display. Not sure if this actually supports immense time. If that actually supports widescreen graphics, may actually not be the case. So this means that the graphics are a bit stretched, but yeah. So let's do a quick race. And I've put the quick race circuit. You get this great Volkswagen thing, but your own car is just like this, super generic mom's car. Olympic Square. I used to be blown away. I'm still actually blown away by the visuals. The night visuals, the reflections, they're all up there. I think this actually runs not at 60 frames per second. It's slow, isn't it? Yeah, that doesn't like to be upscaled one bit. So Settings, screen resolution. So let's do it. Set it to 720p. Perhaps that's... The thing is, this game was not running very fast on the original PlayStation. It would actually run around 25-26 frames per second. The GameCube does a solid 60 frames per second. But yeah, 720p it's capable of running. So it's a PAL game, so the screen refresh is actually 50. And the game engine runs at 25 frames per second. Oh. Okay, let's see what happens if we turn it to native resolution or 1.75 or... Yeah, 1.75. It's slightly. No, it's just the same. It's the same speed. It's actually quite interesting to have it upscale just a bit higher than native. But let's see if we go native. What happens then? Because I think the speed will just be the same. So native, like so. Resume. Yeah, it will just be 25 frames per second. Probably a more solid 25 frames per second than with the upscaling. But yeah, this, I mean, the visuals are stunning, but resolution-wise and frame rate-wise, the GameCube really beats the PlayStation 2 because it really ran at half the frame rate, which would be 25 frames per second on PAL units and 30 frames per second on NTSC units. Actually quite curious what happens if we go and do the software rendering. Switch to software renderer. Yeah, it just does a solid 25 frames per second. So we've really come a long way. I mean, basically your CPU doing all the calculations, and you do see that there's more spikes in the frame time because, yeah, your system really has to do more. Things it would be able to offload to the graphics card, it can't offload, so it has to calculate all these things itself, and the CPU isn't the best at doing all these floating point maths in a way that the graphics card is capable of. But yeah, I mean, it's one of these games. This game just doesn't want to be upscaled. So, let's see. Native, let's go back to 3. Restart, okay. Yeah, it really is a lot slower. Basically very similar. Sorry about that. No, but GameCube would run this at full speed, full frame rate. I do think that the PlayStation has more fancy things going on. There's all sorts of lighting effects and you know, motion deformation and stuff. Let me see, PlayStation Underground. Let's mute the sound yet again. And see if I can turn off the volume of the music, and we'll just do one of these simple races. Load successful. Customize options, audio, music, game music. Right. And let's see if we can change the visuals. Widescreen on. And turn on the volume. Make the screen full screen. Yeah. Yeah. Overwrite. Oh yeah, God of War 2 is also one of these hard to run games. Let's check that out in a bit. Let me see. Customize online, quick race, circuit, resort loop, forward, Peugeot, auto. So it may be that it also doesn't like this upscaling thing. But it's running a hell of a lot better than it used to on the emulator. Oh, there's some weird green tint going on. I mean, we can actually see that just is not doing it. So let's see if we can go to 720p. So it's running half the frame rate. Let's go to the software renderer. So yeah. So I mean, basic advice: whenever you encounter issues, rendering issues with a certain game, select the software renderer. You will default to the default standard resolution of the game, be it NTSC or PAL. But the translation to PC 3D graphics will just not take place on the hardware, which can be good because, well, there can be issues. Sometimes it takes too much time, it's too slow. Other times it's just this just people always think that the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were the consoles that introduced 30 frames per second gaming, but actually it was EA on the Xbox original as well as the PlayStation. And I think that the PlayStation actually is the only system that does this half frame rate thing. I mean, it's smooth, but okay, let's upscale this again. So yeah, I mean it's yeah, looks great, but the system just doesn't want to deal with it properly. Let's see, what's another game that really could benefit? Gran Turismo 3. Yeah, I'm always a sucker for Gran Turismo, especially 3. Let's go full screen. Let's just do the rally thing. Now I am copying software off the drive, so it may not be the smartest thing to do, but arcade mode. Yeah, and a lot of my games actually are PAL games. I come from the Netherlands, so a lot of the games that I ripped are actually my PAL games. Hold on. I need to go to options. Whoa. It really doesn't like it. Okay, let's go to options. Yeah, and this is actually due to me copying files off the drive, because this is, I mean, it's running, it's playing the video from the disk as well as running this from this menu system, so that's actually why it's slow. So let's turn that off, and let's turn that off. Now if you look at Duckstation, pretty much has the exact same interface. And if we go to Ridge Racer Type 4 USA. Yeah. Full screen. So it really is the exact same. I mean, it feels like the exact same emulator. Now you can upscale the PlayStation 1 graphics as well. But the assets used and the number of textures, it really doesn't work that well with PlayStation Original if you upscale the graphics. Yeah, we've seen this. We've seen this a lot. Let's go to I'll show you Dolphin. Install update. Okay. Yeah, couldn't find any GameCube or graphics, enhancements, native, 1080p. Okay, VSync, Vulkan, and yeah, and then we have to select the game folders paths, and games, Launchbox games, Nintendo GameCube. select folder, and then again Launchbox Games, Nintendo Wii, select folder, and then the watts. Launchbox Games, Nintendo, the watts. Okay. And if we go Need for Speed, whoops, Need for Speed. Come on. Yeah, Need for Speed. Need for Speed Underground 2. I'll mute the graphics, the sound. 60 Hertz. Oh. Yeah, I need to hook up a controller. Standard controller. Configure. No. Oh, I probably need to map then. Yeah. So it's the weird reverse naming scheme that the Nintendo group is famous for. D-pad, up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right, yeah. So, up, down, left, right, no, right. Really weird what that was. And then the analogs. Okay. Always connected. Close. Close. Oh man, it's still doing its thing. Oh. Need for Speed Underground. And let's select 60 Hertz mode. Set to 60 Hertz. Let's enhance that. No, so there are issues with it displaying the video files. For some reason that always gets weird effects going on, even in regular non-upscaled mode. So this also is upscaled to 1080p. And you can use the analog triggers in this game instead of the face buttons, which is good. GameCube does 4:3 graphics only, which is a shame. You can hack them to display widescreen. But this also does do yeah, it does run at it really doesn't like the upscaling, does it? So config graphics, whoops, graphics, enhancements, 720p, widescreen hack. Wow. Let's see. Need for Speed. Not that Need for Speed, the other Need for Speed. Need for Speed Underground, 60 Hertz. Now this could be the old graphics card that I'm using. It's an RX580, and the other system it had a GTX 3060 or something like that. So it may be that is what is keeping the emulator back. Quick race circuit closed loop. Because it's like a 1650 or 1650 or something like that, GTX, an RX580. So this runs at 30 frames per second. So also, no, this is going 60 frames per second. So I guess when we go, if we go native, let's see if we can go native. I believe this is capable of switching this around. Yeah, and just go auto, native, or auto, no, native. And then just don't do the widescreen hack. It's probably doing it. Well, it's not doing as well. But as you can see, the graphics are a lot simpler. The PlayStation 2 version really has a lot more going on. I think this is just me using the system for extensive file copying at the same time, using the same drive. So I mean, it's not really it's not really how do you say it, representative. So yeah. That's it. Just some other games running the emulator. Yeah, preferably run the emulator without doing other stuff with your system. I am halfway through copying 1873 PlayStation 2 games. It's doing that at 158 megabytes per second. Yeah, it probably will take a toll on the file I/O and cutscenes and stuff that needs to stream off the disk. Hope you liked the video. More videos will come out. I'm still a bit under the weather. Was supposed to go holidaying in France, but actually was had such a head cold / flu that we decided to stay home. So we'll just have a very nice vacation, a staycation at home, just, you know, doing stuff. Actually, I bought some RAM for this system. It only has 16 gigabytes of RAM. This was cheap. And I got this was also very cheap. This is a Samsung SD card for my Switch. For my Steam Deck. To be able to install some games and run the games off the drive, because the speed of this is actually quite interesting. 160 megabytes per second loading and saving. So and a 512 gigabyte. That's more than enough to have a lot of Steam games on there, and perhaps some emulation as well. Anyways, Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon. Ta-ta!